And some of those who were caught up in that sudden deck crash in the middle of watching the Heat game last night are now taking legal action.
CBS 4 brings you live team coverage of the Shuckers deck collapse.
And we kick things off with CBS 4's Ted Scout, and he's live on a boat just outside of Shuckers. Ted, what's the latest? All right, let's go up now to Chopper 4. There is the scene as the helicopter hovers over what is left of that deck at the Shuckers restaurant, which a lot of people here in South Florida know, many in the news business. Actually, it's a popular hangout, lots of going away parties for different television reporters who've come and gone in the market. And you can see all of that wood there in the water. What a mess is now investigators will have to figure out about the structural integrity and all of the issues surrounding it. Let's continue our team coverage right now. Send it out to CBS 4's Peter Dench with the victims who are lawyering up in this case. Peter? Let's go ahead and take a look at some pictures sent in to us by a CBS 4 News viewer, Javier Martinez. You can see right where the outside deck broke off from the main one. Now, here is another look at all of the damage. Look how it seemed to just collapse in the center of that structure. And a third picture where you can see the chairs, the tables, and other debris that went right into the water. Stay with CBS 4 News for continuing coverage of the Shuckers deck collapse. You can also log on to our website at cbsmiami.com to check out a photo gallery. Tonight at 6, CBS 4's Jim DeFede looks into the investigation into how all this happened. We will also have some of the 911 calls for help. That's coming up an hour from now on CBS 4 News at 6. Harsh words from the bench from a Broward judge today overseeing the case of a 4-year-old found dead in his mother's apartment. CBS 4's Joan Murray live at the courthouse in Fort Lauderdale with why the judge was all fired up. Joan? Nearly 400 homes burned to the ground, 2 people dead in the worst wildfires in Colorado's history. But tonight, why firefighters are optimistic. And a dad hangs on while waiting for a liver transplant so he can be a father for the very first time. Welcome back. A major brush fire burning in Colorado, wiping out hundreds of homes and forcing thousands of people to evacuate. As CBS 4's Teresa Garcia tells us, the firefight has taken a turn in the favor of firefighters.
That's dedication, my friend.
Dedication. It was a scorcher today in downtown Miami.
Pretty
I'll tell
hot.
you. Super hot.
A day for swimming if you ever saw one.
Don't forget, it's all about Dad this weekend. President Obama has it. He kicked off Father's Day weekend with a White House luncheon in honor of dads. Among the invited guests, students and leaders from the Becoming a Man program at the Hyde Park Academy in Chicago. The president took some time to give thanks and talk about his own experience as a father.
It's the best job I've got, and I know that all the fathers here feel the same way. And the idea that we might get afternoon ice cream is always good. So,
the president, as you know, has 2 daughters, Malia and Sasha Obama.
I know another dad who likes his afternoon ice cream.
Your dad?
My dad.
I met her dad.
Yes.
Great guy.
Thank you.
You haven't met my dad yet.
Not yet. I look forward to it.
Coming
We'll
up.
bring him some ice cream, too. Coming up in our next half hour of news, we will take you back out to North Bay Village and the Shuckers deck collapse. Victims share what happened when the floor fell out from underneath them.
Plus, the first week of jury selection in the George Zimmerman murder trial. How many potential jurors have been asked to come back for next week?
I was completely scared because I just see my whole body bleeding and I don't know what happened to me, and I start feeling dizzy and I fell into the floor.
Deck collapse. Those caught in the middle of it recount what happened when the boards gave out from under them in the middle of watching a Miami Heat game. The collapse at Shuckers restaurant in the Bay left more than 30 people injured and triggered a massive emergency response last night. Day 2 of the NCAA hearing on the case against the University of Miami is over now. UM President Donna Shalala and Atlantic Coast Conference Commissioner John Swofford attended the hearing again today. They are defending the Hurricanes against allegations of improper benefits provided by former UM booster Nevin Shapiro. The NCAA alleges improper benefits went to 72 players, 3 recruits, and 12 family and friends. It has been 6 months now since the tragic Sandy Hook shooting in Newtown, Connecticut. To mark the 6-month passing, Newtown held a moment of silence today. The Sisters of Slain teacher Victoria Soto asked for a 26-second moment of silence at the ceremony to honor the 20 children and 6 adults who were killed at the school back in December. The U.S. is stepping up its involvement in the war in Syria as the Obama administration weighs exactly what military help it will give rebel fighters. The Syrian government is denying any use of chemical weapons. CBS 4's Tara Mergenter has the story tonight from the White House. And now to our special series, Return to D-Day. All this week, Our anchor friend from Dallas, Doug Dunbar from our sister station, has been reporting on a group of veterans from World War II who went to Normandy, France.
It's such a moving thing to be over there with them.
Welcome back to the news. It is one of the most anticipated movies of the summer. Are you ready, Cynthia?
Yes.
Man of Steel opens in theaters this weekend.
Super Brian, ladies and gentlemen.
British actor Henry Petrillo, CBS 4 News.
Sold. Looks good.
Now let's go ahead and check out the weather forecast with our Man of Steely forecast.
Yeah. Can Superman fly through thunderstorms? That's what I'm in there.
A jet smashes into a California hangar, but everybody on board walked off unharmed. The FAA says the plane was undergoing an engine test when it suddenly started rolling, smashing into the hangar at the airport in Chino. 3 mechanics were on board at the time. Fortunately, nobody was hurt.
Well, wouldn't you just love...
Father's Day is Sunday, and it will be a very special one for a South Florida father and daughter.
how she's giving her dad the gift of life and how she made it such a surprise.
Well, today we bring you a very special Father's Day story of a local dad and daughter. Off the top at 6 o'clock tonight, a weather alert in Broward County.
A severe thunderstorm warning for parts of South Florida. Let's go right over to meteorologist Craig Setzer. Craig, with more of the victims of the collapse.
Many have already secured legal representation. You knew this was coming. For more on that, let's check in with CBS 4's Peter Dench. Peter? For continuing coverage, stay with CBS 4 News on air and online at cbsmiami.com, and on our website, you'll be able to find an entire photo gallery highlighting what happened in last night's collapse.
Now to the Heat's run for the ring. The Heat one step closer to another parade down Biscayne Boulevard after a big win last night in the NBA Finals.
The series with the Spurs is tied up 2-2. They have one more game in San Antonio Sunday before they bring it back home. So let's send it on over to Kem Bokamper. He's here with all the highlights and reaction. Kem? New at 6 o'clock, a convicted sex offender is back in custody in South Florida after fleeing to Brazil. Kenneth Craig was arrested in Deerfield Beach back in 1998 on charges of sexual exploitation of a minor, sexual performance with a minor, and sexual assault of a minor. Deputies say Craig posted bond and then took off, left the country. After more than a decade search across the Americas, Craig was arrested at the airport in Rio de Janeiro in 2011. Finally, U.S. Marshals were able to bring him back. They flew to Rio to bring him back to South Florida to face charges this week. An honest mistake is what Miami mayoral candidate Francis Suarez says is the worst that happened when his campaign requested absentee ballots for voters online in an apparent violation of Florida law. A Broward judge is blaming the Department of Children and Families and its private foster care system provider for not doing enough to protect a child in their care. Dependency Court Judge Elizabeth Schur blasted DCF and ChildNet for ignoring her order to that a home study be ordered before they allowed the mother of Antoine Hope Jr. to have an overnight visit. The child died Monday at his mother's Coral Springs apartment.
Who signed off on a home study for a mother that had a warrant out for her arrest and could have been picked up on criminal charges at any time with her child in her care?
The mother's family denied she had anything to do with the child's death. We should know how the child died when the medical examiner rules early next week. Thunder boomers right now over western Broward.
Lasting longer than 1 minute and repetitive, aren't they?
Good, looking like a good Sunday for Dad. Back to you.
You gonna go up and see your dad's?
My dad's 4 minutes away, so yeah, I'm going to see him. But all he wants is for the Heat to win on Sunday.
Absolutely, and we're going to check that out when we turn to sports and check in with Kem Bokamper now that the Heat are tied at 2-2.
We'll see what Kim has to say about it coming up. You won't want to miss it.
That'll do it for the news at 6 o'clock. Thanks for watching me and Cynthia. The evening news with Scott Pelley's coming up next.
And look for all the day's headlines tonight at 11. Have a great evening and good night, everyone.